Alright my dudes, I'm Exelia and welcome to my channel. Come in, get comfy and let's chat about cosplay. Hi, I'm Heather and welcome to my channel. I ordered myself a costume from Taobao a few months ago and it finally arrived. So this is Kamisato Ayaka from Genshin Impact, just in case you're not familiar. I mean, I don't know who isn't playing this game. It's like the most downloaded game on the planet at this stage, surely. But anyway, this costume was bought from a company called Delusion. Now, I ordered directly from them with Taobao and an agent. However, you can find a lot of their costumes sold via places like Doki Doki or AliExpress, where they sell exactly the same costume. You're just buying it through like a third-party seller. It does work out slightly cheaper to use an agent or a proxy to be able to order instead, which is what I did. And it was a little bit intimidating at first, so I'm going to show you the process of actually finding the costume, ordering the costume, paying for the costume, having the costume delivered, and well, you can see what it looks like now. I'll also be giving a review of this costume because there were a lot of different parts. Some of it went quite well, some of it not so much. But yeah, if you're interested in the quality of this costume or seeing what the quality is like from Delusion, that will also be covered in this video. Before I get started, I just want to say that normally I make my own costumes, and I've been making my own costumes since 2009. It's been a big thing for me. I've made over 100 different costumes. I've competed internationally. I've won awards for sewing. So I know what I'm doing when it comes to making a costume. But when it comes to Genshin, the designs aren't that complicated, but a lot of the fabrics are. And I first looked at making Ayaka, and to get fabric printed that was of the quality that you would want for the design, it was going to cost me a fortune. Whereas if I bought the costume, it was going to be a lot cheaper, and if I chose to upgrade the costume in any way, it would still be cheaper than making it from scratch. I originally ordered this costume on the 10th of August and it arrived on the 20th of October, so a little bit of a wait, but considering these costumes are made to order when you order them direct, it was a pretty quick process. So the total price for this costume, ordering it from China, having it shipped, that's for the wig, the costume, the fan, which is an accessory included with the costume, and the shoes, was $174.27, which frankly, there's got to be something unethical going on, but that's an issue for another video. But for £175, it would have cost me more just to get the fabric custom printed for the base pieces of this costume. As far as the ordering process goes, it was actually very, very easy to order this costume. I had a look on AliExpress first just to test the waters and see if there were any good Ayaka costumes available. Once I found the costume I liked, I basically just put the image into Google reverse image search. I found out the name of the company that actually manufactured it, and then I went searching on Taobao to see if I could find the same costume. The most difficult part of this process was actually looking on Taobao, because a lot of the stores are quite limited with what you can see. Some of them don't have public storefronts at all, so you have to sign up for a Taobao account to be able to browse their store, which the Delusion is one of those stores. I managed to sign up using my phone number because they accept phone numbers from all over the world, so it's very, very easy to make an account if you can navigate with Google Translate. And once I had my account set up, I was able to find the front page for Delusion and have a look. If you're looking for Genshin Impact specifically, they have so many different costumes available on there, and I mean, they announced Ayaka, and I think it was within like 2 or 3 weeks they had a costume up for pre-order, so a lot of these Chinese manufacturers are very, very fast at getting costumes up and ready for pre-order. It'll just take a few months for them to fulfill it. As soon as I found the Ayaka costume, I found the wig and the shoes as well, and I knew exactly what it was I wanted to order. On the recommendation of some friends, I used 42 Agent, which was a very, very easy process. You can basically order anything that's on Taobao or from any other Chinese website via 42 Agent, and everything's in English, and it's really easy for idiots like me. Anything that I needed to know was set out very, very plain. All the pricing was very upfront. It was a really, really simple process. Once I made my account with 42 Agent, it was very easy to order. So there is an orders menu. You go there, you input the links for any of the items that you're wanting, and you can specify what size, what shape, what color, any specific details on that page. You can also specify if you want things to ship as one shipment or if you want things to ship separately. So for me, I requested the wig, the costume in size extra large, the shoes, and for everything to go as one shipment. So here's the invoice that I received. You can see the breakdown of what the cost actually is and also the fee. 42 Agent also confirmed that some of the pieces would be ready in September and some of the pieces would be ready in October, but that it was no problem to ship them together. Once I placed my order, I had to wait to get a confirmation email that would then request the payment and calculate the fees and everything else. And once that was done, they would then order the costume, and then it was just time to wait until the 9th of October when I received an email from 42 Agent where they said that they had received my order and that there were photos available on the website for me to check over, and then if I was happy with the order I could get it shipped. Once again, it was very thorough. In the email it told me exactly where I could find the photos of the costume, which I will put somewhere on the screen. So everything that I ordered was laid out and there were multiple photographs to show me exactly what was there. It also told me, well, it confirmed my shipping address, my phone number. It also told me things like the weight of the box and how much the shipping was going to be and how long they estimated it would take. And of course there were instructions on how to actually pay for it. The shipping was more expensive than I expected, but I think because of the weight of the parcel, it had to be sent via EMS and it was roughly £50 to get this shipped, which sounds like a lot. Yes, it does, but that was for the whole costume. The whole thing. And I'm just going to be blunt, if you order from somewhere like a reseller or somewhere like Doki Doki, some of these places will advertise free shipping, but you're paying for the shipping in the cost of the markup on the costume, so you'll end up paying more for the costume and you will also still be paying the shipping fee, it just isn't listed as shipping. So for me, paying £112 for the costume and then £50 for the postage was more than fine. So once I checked over the photos and I was happy with my order, which I was, I paid for the shipping and then it was just a matter of waiting for it to arrive. And when it finally arrived, I recorded it. So I'm gonna skip to that footage now and you can see me unboxing. Alright my dudes, so it is now the 28th of October and I have a big box in front of me, a big exciting shiny box. This arrived this morning and I've got my teeny tiny carrot to open it up, so let's see what's inside. There we go. Right, so on top we have, this is really cute. So the brand I ordered from is Third Delusion, I'm assuming that's how you say it. And it came in this cute little zippy bag. I'm guessing this is going to be the jacket and the skirt. This will be the shoes. I don't know if the shoe accessories are in there, but looks like the shoes to me. I'm just going to pile this all up. Ooh, this is nice. So that'll be the bow. So the fabric that they've used on these is actually really pretty. Like, I don't know how good that is, I can't see, but yeah. And then there's like little details in here. Looks quite nice. Here's the wig. So that's actually a really nice colour for Ayaka. It looks like it's blended. I mean, you can never really tell when they're in the bag, but yeah, it looks like it's blended fibres where it's like an icy blue and then little bits of white and grey. I will have a look at that when I open it up. That'll be the armour pieces. And oh god, there's a lot in here. So yeah, the fans in here, it looks like the headpiece is in here, the vision's in here, all the little ties and bits and pieces. Yeah, nice. I'm not so sure about like this elastic or these armor pieces, so I'm gonna see how it looks when I actually try it on, but these are pieces that I kind of like shortlisted that if I'm gonna have to remake anything, it's probably gonna be these bits. This is a petticoat. It looks like there's a hoop in here. Yeah, I think there's a little hoop in the bottom. I don't really care about a petticoat, but it's nice that there is one included. And it looks like this is the last thing in the box. Ooh. This is the little like bust armour bit. It's made out of like a fake leather. It looks like it just velcros at the back, but I can find out when I actually open it up. Yeah, that's quite nice. And I've got a big empty box. So yeah, I'm going to have a closer look at this and run you through all the different pieces and then see about trying it on. This is how the costume looks all together. So let's get to the good bit, the costume. When the costume first arrived, I decided to put it on my mannequin for a few days. Putting it on a physical body meant that a lot of the creases were able to just sort of work their way out where it had been crammed in a box. So I took some footage of it as it was. I also tried it on when it first arrived. Excuse the lack of makeup, I look absolutely haggard, but you can see roughly what the costume looks like. I'm gonna be honest, and this costume, I knew when I was ordering it that there were probably going to be little bits that I wasn't too keen on and that I might want to remake. However, a lot of the pieces that I was quite confident in buying, so things like the shoes and the wig and mostly the dress and the jacket, I am very, very happy with, because the main difficulty of making this costume was going to be getting the fabric printed. So having a costume where I am very happy with the fabric quality, that is a big win for me. The main issue that I have with this costume is that I am on the top end of the extra large sizing, so sometimes I hulk out of this because the back of this like breastplate piece is done with poppers. There's one at the top and one at the bottom, and if I sneeze, it just opens. Also, this waist piece, which I will show you here, this piece at the back actually broke when I first wore it, so there was a little chain on the back, which I don't know whose waist that was going to fit around, but certainly not mine. But the chain itself pulled and snapped, so I fastened it with a ribbon instead, just to be able to see, you know, how the costume's looking and how it fits, and then if I want to add a longer chain to it later, then I can do that. And the ribbon was fine, but the end came off the cord. Yeah, it broke twice. But the good thing is that I can easily fix it and it's not going to be a problem. It would only be a problem if I'd literally just taken this to an event and then put it on and been like, oh god, it's not going to close, you know? But the actual quality of the cord is really beautiful, and all of the folding and the knotting, everything's like hand tacked into place, so it's really nice and secure. I'm happy with the wig. The colour of it is absolutely beautiful, and this wig just has a clip on. It doesn't have like a pulled back ponytail, like a fake ponytail, which I don't have time for that. If I'm competing, I'll do it, but if I'm just going to an event and enjoying what I'm wearing, I don't really care if it's pulled into a high pony or not. I wanted something that was more comfortable for me to wear, and this was definitely a more comfortable option. The main thing is, when it arrived, obviously I had to trim the fringe a little bit, but also these side pieces were, I mean, they still are a little bit, they're a bit much. They're a bit a bit poofy foofy, which is fine and is very cute, but they're a lot for the character. So the hair itself is like crimped and like frizzy, and I've tamed it down a little bit with some straighteners. These were massive when it first arrived, and I mean, it's not the way I would do it, but I'm also still quite happy to settle for this because it definitely gives the right amount of volume and it looks right for the character. It's just a bit much. This headpiece that fastens around the ponytail is absolutely... I'm lost for words with this. The little emblem that's at the top is cast in metal, as is the little cherry blossom that's on the necklace. On that note, the necklace is very pretty. I really like how this looks. It just has a little chain at the back, so it's like a variable length. So these pieces I'm very happy with. There's some little tweaks I might make to the headdress, but it's like, I can't really fault them. What's interesting about Ayaka's design is that it looks like it's a jacket and then a skirt, but pretty much every version of this costume that I found for sale has them sewn together as one piece, so it's basically like a dress. And this costume's no different. So the skirt and the jacket are sewn together as a dress with a zipper up the back, so it's really easy to get into. It's just interesting. There are some really nice details on this costume. There's some small embroidered pieces, and of course the main fabric that's being used has a texture to it. When I first opened the costume, I was really impressed by the skirt because the pattern is printed all the way around the skirt. It doesn't have any like gaps in it. It's been very carefully patterned to make sure that it looks exactly like Ayaka's. One major problem that there is on the costume, and I think this is just a production flaw. I didn't notice this when it first arrived, however my wonderful fiance pointed it out, so now I can't unsee it, and it is this piece here. So the top here, this is too high. You can see it is misaligned. This piece should be slightly lower down and not touching the top panel. So that's a little bit of an issue, but one of the pieces that I would be likely to remake is this breast piece anyway. It's a little bit annoying that it's not, you know, fully aligned, but until I pointed it out, you probably didn't notice either, so it's not that bad. Another gripe that I've got are these arm pieces. because they're just a bit flimsy and I'm not that keen on the trim on them, and I mean, I've just tied the elastic, which helps keep them in place. It looks terrible at the moment, but I can make it look nicer. But yeah, these are just a little bit flimsy. They do have nice details on them and they are very nicely sewn. All of the costume is very nicely sewn, but this is one of the things that I am very likely going to remake. The black arm socks are kind of like, well, I don't really have anything bad to say about them, but they just are what they are. They fit nicely, they're comfortable, they're a little bit sheer, but in a nice way. It means it should be nice and cool in the heat. Yeah, they're just fine. They just match the costume. The main thing that I'm not so keen on is the little bit of elastic that goes around the finger. So probably at some stage I'll replace that with a little bit of cord or some thin round elastic instead, just to make it look a bit more dainty. But otherwise, like, they look totally fine. This is the bow for the back of the costume, and this is my second favourite piece of the costume because it is absolutely beautiful. The fabric has this shimmer running all the way through it, and the tails are lined with the baby blue, and they're lined with like a sheer material, so you can still see the pattern through. It's just absolutely beautiful. This cord attaches with a little pin at the top, and I've also secured it with a second little pin at the side underneath the vision. And of course you've got the nice long tassels that drape down the back of the bow. The vision itself it's not the best. Considering it was included with the costume, I'm not really going to complain. It's a little misaligned at the bottom, so the gem is slightly too small for the base that it's attached to, but it lights up. Which is just so cute. I think this is adorable. I'm probably going to remove this and move it slightly further down in the back just so it has more of a glow all the way around it rather than having a gap at the bottom, but honestly I'm nitpicking. The bow comes with this hook that you can slot down the back of the cord at the waist that holds the bow in place. The plate armour pieces down the side of the costume are not the best, but they're also not bad. They look exactly as they're meant to look, and to be honest, having a fabric version instead of an actual armour plate piece is probably easier to transport and it's a lot lighter to wear, so these are pieces that I'm likely to remake, but in a pinch I would still wear these quite happily. Both of the panels slot onto a belt that goes underneath the waist cincher, so everything is totally hidden. It also came with a petticoat, which, if I'm being perfectly honest, the hoop on it is massive. It looked ridiculous under the skirt, so I've replaced it with a petticoat of my own. But the fact it came with one is pretty awesome because it means that you literally have everything you could possibly need. And of course we've got the socks and the shoes. So the socks unfortunately are a little bit small for me. My feet are a UK size 6 or a 39 in European sizing, and these I think are a 36, so they're like quite a bit smaller. So I can wear them, they do fit, but I have popped a little bit of the stitching, so I'll probably remake these and just take the little ribbons off. This is adorable. I love it. I think it's so cute. I love that it has the matching crepe to go with the rest of the costume, and of course the little bows. These have the matching tassels for the rest of the costume, the cord, they've got a little metal cherry blossom, and of course the big bows, and they attach to the front with a pin. And finally, my favourite bit of the costume, and this feels like such a cop-out to be my favourite, but I just love it. It's the fan. It's so pretty. It's so beautiful. It's just printed and it's relatively simple, but it just completes the costume. I don't think I would have went to the same effort to make something as pretty as this, so I'm very, very glad that this was included. Overall, I'm really happy with this costume. I think for the price that I paid, like roughly £175, this is totally worth the money. I know it might seem quite expensive to buy a costume, because I know some costumes you can get for like £40, £60, but for the level of detail that is in this costume and how many parts there are for this costume, and the fact that it's a whole costume, there was the wig, the shoes, the whole thing, the vision, it even lights up, you know, everything is included for that cost. I am amazed at the price of this costume. Is it going to put me off making things? No, of course not. And I do plan to make some updates to this costume, which I may document in a future video. But for the most part, if I bought this and I took it to a con, I would quite happily wear this. I've bought costumes in the past before and they've been a little bit rough around the edges, but the quality of the stitching, the patterning, the shape, the way that the fabric hangs, everything on this costume is so nicely done. And for someone who is just a hobbyist cosplayer, this is absolutely ideal. I think I've covered everything, but if I've missed anything, or if you've got any other questions, or if you want any advice with anything like this, please do pop it in a comment below, or if you just think the costume looks nice, let me know. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, because that really helps. And if you haven't already, and you would like to join me for some more cosplay chatter in the future, please consider subscribing and hit the bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. Typically I try and upload videos on Saturdays, but as always, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you very, very soon.